Hello, and welcome to the Building an Online Course in Brightspace webinar. My name is Brad Kettelars, and I will be your host. In today's demonstration, you're going to learn how to create and curate content quickly and easily within Brightspace. We'll talk about how you can leverage video and social interactions to provide great learner feedback. We'll talk about how Brightspace can support the delivery of personalized learning paths, improving student success and retention. And finally, we'll talk about how faculty can quickly analyze student progress and even class progress at scale. Before we jump into the platform, I wanted to mention 3 pillars in which D2L is built upon. We at D2L understand it takes much more than just being an easy LMS to meet the complex needs of our partners. Brightspace is a platform that offers flexibility, supporting different pedagogical approaches, different organizational structures and hierarchies, and supporting different roles and permissions, allowing our clients to create roles as they require across their organization. Brightspace also supports smart tools that are built to save faculty time, improve student understanding and success, ultimately leading to improved student retention. We believe in providing an LMS that enables our partners to reach every learner. And finally, I wanted to demonstrate our commitment to innovation and to reaching every learner by highlighting that D2L is designed to be fully responsive. What does that mean? Well, that means that regardless of the device you have, whether it be a Mac, a PC, a tablet, or a smartphone, you can access Brightspace and all of its great tools and enjoy the same user experience. This means that you're not excluding those that don't have the latest and greatest devices. You're not requiring your students to all have an app to access our platform. And we're not expecting them to learn 2 different user experiences just to work within one LMS. Let's jump in and take a look. So welcome to Brightspace. This is the home page for Brightspace. On this page, you will find links to the courses that you have access to. You will find your organizational tools quickly and easily in our navigation bar. And along the top bar, you'll always have access to jump back to this home screen. You can easily access any of the courses that you're enrolled in. And you can also personalize your own experience by adding those tiles simply by pinning those courses to your dash. If you're not using that course anymore, you can very simply remove that from your home screen. In our Communication Center, you can quickly and easily stay updated as to anything happening within the platform. Discussions, emails, instant messages, and even content and grade alerts. And finally, within our profile area, we allow faculty to quickly jump over to Student View and see exactly what their students are seeing within their course. Taking that to the next level, we allow administration to actually see any role that's been created within Brightspace. At D2L, we allow our clients to create as many roles as necessary to suit their organizational needs. If you want to create a guest speaker role or an advisor role, maybe you have a library services role, we can absolutely support the development of those new roles, and we can limit the access to certain tools based on your requirements. And finally, we have our great notifications and account settings areas. This allows users to very simply set notification alerts such that information happening within Brightspace can be pushed to an external device. Next, moving on to our widget area. This is where we really allow our clients to customize the platform to suit their needs. Brightspace comes with a number of very useful widgets, such as the My Courses widget, Announcements widgets, Calendar widgets, and many more. But we do not limit our customers to only these widgets. Our clients can create any widgets very simply using HTML to make the experience their own. At D2L, we also understand the importance of a personalized learning experience. And you'll notice throughout our platform, we support the use of replacement strings. You can very simply use replacement strings to personalize messaging, instructions, announcements, and much more. Now, let's jump into a course and take a look at creating content, adding content, and manipulating and managing your course. Once in the course, you will notice that our navigation bar has changed to reflect the tools we'll most often be using at the course level. You can again see a number of widgets that will allow us to easily communicate with our students. Again, being able to personalize that experience. We can very quickly jump to the content within our course. And finally, we have our faculty fan favorite updates widget. This allows faculty to very quickly and easily see what's been happening in these tools since the last time they were there. I can quickly navigate to my discussions or ungraded assignments and ensure that I'm keeping up with the expectations of the course. Now let's jump into our content tool. The content tool has been built by instructor feedback. and is our one-stop shop for adding content, creating content, adding dates, changing dates, and even grading. The content tool also supports the creation and delivery of different pedagogical approaches. Whether you teach in a weekly model, a unit-based model, a learning outcome model, or you're even using competency-based education models at your institution, Brightspace can support those delivery models. Not only can we quickly jump between the tools, such as assignments, discussions, and quizzes, but through our customizable table of contents, faculty can quickly and easily build out any course structure to suit their needs. You'll notice in this example, we're using a Unit 1, Unit 2 model. To add content, it's as simple as clicking on Add a Module and typing the new header. Once you've completed typing your header, simply click Enter, and we have now created that module, and we can begin building out our content. I can also simply drag and drop this unit folder right under Unit 2, so it falls in the correct order for my course. I now want to bring in some content. You'll notice that we can very simply support dragging and dropping of content that you've already created. So I can very simply open up my file folder right from my computer. I can grab files such as images, PowerPoints, Word documents, Excel documents, PDFs. We can pretty much support any file type, and I can very simply drag and drop that right into the platform. This drag and drop functionality saves a ton of time and energy for our faculty members. Once we've brought that content in, we can very simply rearrange that content to suit our expectations. If I notice I've pulled a piece of content in that I actually want in a different module, I can easily drag across module as well. So it's very easy to manage your courses and easy to manipulate them in an ongoing basis. Now that we've brought content in, we might want to actually create some content within the platform. Again, built on faculty feedback, we've created very consistent workflows. Using our Upload and Create tool, you can very simply open up the drop-down menu, and you'll be greeted by a number of opportunities. The top half of this list is focused on content, such as bringing in links or files, bringing in objects from our Learning Object Repository, maybe shared documentation for a department or a program or an entire organization, or maybe you want to drag and drop in a new SCORM object. The bottom half of this list is focused on activities, such as checklists, assignments, quizzes, and more. We're going to begin by creating a file. By creating a file, we will open up our rich HTML editor. Within the HTML editor, you can very simply title your content, copy and paste content in, bring in multimedia, or you can take advantage of our amazing templates. After creating your heading and easily inserting a replace string, the faculty can now build out that content. Instead of actually copying, pasting, or building out brand new content, I wanted to highlight our awesome templates. Through the Selected Template option, faculty can very simply select a template that's been created by their administration or instructional designers. This is a great opportunity for institutions to create a consistent look and feel across their courses while saving their faculty a ton of time. By very simply inserting a template, I now very simply have to customize this template to suit my needs. I can still copy and paste in content as required, or I can type the expectations right in line. And the use of templates does not negate the ability to insert multimedia. Through our awesome Insert Stuff button, faculty can very simply select to create a video right in line, drop in a video from YouTube, or potentially using another third-party software solution. In this case, we're going to drop in a YouTube video. After typing out your search criteria, we can now hit the search button and we'll see what YouTube has for us. I can very simply insert this video right into my template. So you can see Brightspace has made it very easy for faculty to create content right in line. In addition, we have some amazing accessibility tools where we can check the entire accessibility for this document to make sure that we're creating accessible content throughout. By simply hitting Publish, we've now completed this file and it'll be viewable by our students. We'll now jump back to our content tool and we'll create an assignment. Again, built on instructor feedback and that consistent experience, you'll use the Upload and Create button and very simply click on New Assignment. You'll notice these workflows are going to be very consistent to that of creating a file. We're now going to title our assignment. We can decide whether this is an individual or a group assignment, whether this is going to be a file submission or just a simple text-based submission. and we can add any additional instructions. Again, note the full HTML editor capabilities here, with the ability to insert multimedia, such as video instructions, audio instructions, or simple images to help your students. In this case, I will just ask them to write a few pages. So write 5 pages on your favorite fiction novel. We will simply hit publish, and we have now created an assignment folder in which students will be able to drag and drop their files for submission. Now, of course, as a faculty member, there are a few other things you might want to do, such as adding dates or restrictions, such as limiting the number of submissions allowed. Maybe you want to add a learning outcome. Brightspace's competency tool is very sophisticated and can support the use of competencies at the organization level, department level, program level, all the way down to a course level. This makes it very easy for organizational tracking and implementation. By simply clicking on Add a Learning Objective, faculty members can quickly and easily see the competencies and learning outcomes that have been shared down with them. And by simply selecting the correct learning outcome that should be attached to this assignment, we will now have organizational tracking on this learning outcome. Back in our activities details, we can now simply add the grade item. And just like that, we've created an assignment Dropbox folder in which students can drag and drop their files in, and we now have a gradebook column, and we can see this assignment is worth 10 marks. We'll now jump back to our content tool. Up to this point in the webinar, we focused very much on how Brightspace is easy and has consistent workflows. But now let's talk about how we really differentiate in the market. Brightspace can support the delivery of personalized and individualized learning paths. Through the use of personalized learning experiences, we can help students be more successful, and we can help improve our student retention. In this case, maybe I've taught this course for years, and I happen to know that my students really struggle with the fiction concept. So what I want to do is I want to add a fiction remediation folder. In this new submodule that I've created within the fiction folder, I'm now going to bring in some additional content that I think is going to help those students that are struggling with this concept. This can include additional content, videos, assignments, practice quizzes, anything that you think is going to help those students be more successful. Now, I don't want all of my students seeing the fiction remediation folder. In fact, they don't all need to see the fiction remediation folder. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to utilize our very powerful release conditions within Brightspace. This is how we're going to start building out those individualized learning experiences. By clicking on Create in our release condition tool, we now get welcomed by a long list of opportunities for why or how we're going to release this content. You can see within our release conditions tool, we can link the release of content to checklist items, to class list enrollment, to competencies, content views or not viewing content, discussions, assignments, grades, quizzes, and more. Through the use of our release conditions, we can create these powerful learning experiences for our students. Now, in the example I was using, we're going to focus on the students that are struggling a little with the fiction content. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to select our fiction quiz, and I'm going to release this content to any student who scores less than or equal to 59% on the fiction quiz. Now, as a faculty member, you'll see that any student who scores less than or equal to 59 is going to receive this additional content. It's as simple as that within Brightspace to start creating these unique learning paths for your students. Now, not only can we release additional content, but we can also reach out to these students and make sure they're aware that additional content has been released. We can give them a pat on the back, or we can ensure that they're feeling motivated and supported. Through our amazing Intelligent Agent tool, we can ensure that we're sending out timely messages to our students indicating that we've released additional content or indicating that they should come and see us. But as a faculty member, we don't have to be doing this for every single student within the platform. We can automate this process, saving a ton of time and energy and ensuring the students are getting the support they need. In this case, you'll notice we have a low score on a quiz, Intelligent Agent. And within this low score on a quiz, Intelligent Agent, this automated email message is going to be sent based on any criteria we select, such as scoring less than 60 on a specific quiz. And the message the students are going to get is a personalized message indicating that we noticed they scored low on a quiz, we've released some additional content to them, and not to get discouraged, or whatever that message needs to look like for your school. You'll notice that we have the ability to control who's receiving these messages. Are we sending it to the initiating user, the student? Are we sending it to an advisor or a dean or a chair that needs to be notified? Do we want to CC or BC somebody on this message so that they're also alerted? One of the very powerful applications of intelligent agents is not only around low score on a quiz, but it's in the ability to partner or pair multiple release conditions. Maybe we want to send a message to an academic advisor after the first 3 quizzes of a semester in which a student has scored less than 60. So we can add additional release conditions and say if all these conditions are met, meaning the student scores less than 60 on all 3 quizzes, we're now going to trigger this message to the academic advisor. Another great use case is the logging in activity. We can send emails and intelligent agents to those students who are not logging in. Maybe it's been 5 days or 7 days and you want to poke those students with an email to keep them on track. So many amazing use cases for this very powerful tool. One last thing to note within the intelligent agent tool is, again, you'll notice the full HTML editor capabilities in which you can add images or video to really make these messages your own. Now let's jump back to our content tool. I talked about how within Brightspace the content tool is the one-stop shop for our faculty, and that holds true for grading as well. By simply navigating to the assignments within your platform, I can now very simply jump over to my completion summary tab within the assignment folder, and I get a really nice bird's eye view of who submitted the assignment, who I've graded, and who I haven't. By simply selecting the name of the individual, I'm now taken to our grading tool. And within our grading tool, we can very simply open up the file, and we can see that we have added a rubric to this assignment. We can see that we had a temporary score put in here of 13, but have not yet published that. And we can see that we've already applied some personal feedback to this student. I'm actually going to open up the rubric and show you what our rubric tool looks like. Our rubric tool is an interactive tool that can be used to save our faculty a ton of time and energy. Within rubrics, we allow for individual score and feedback to be provided. So by very simply highlighting the different scoring elements in the rubric, you'll notice that the feedback along the right actually changes to reflect your selection. Now what's great is when I hit save and record, all of this feedback from the rubric tool automatically populates the feedback area for the student. So I do not have to type all of this feedback from the rubric. I don't have to reiterate all of that feedback time after time after time. But what I do have the ability to do is personalize this message, again, either through replacement string or by typing. And I also have the ability to very simply add audio or video feedback right within the assignment. By utilizing our video node tool, we can very simply drop in a video, providing very rich and detailed feedback to our students. Now, not only can this grading be done within Brightspace itself, but we've also created our Assignment Grader app for faculty, allowing them to take their grading offline on an iPad or an Android device, do their grading, annotate, provide audio and video feedback just as if they're working in the platform, and once they have a Wi-Fi connection, they can very simply publish that feedback right back to Brightspace. There's one last tool I wanted to touch on within this demonstration, and that is our powerful class progress tool. Again, another tool built on user feedback. Faculty were telling us we want a bird's eye view of exactly what's happening within our course. How are our students doing? Are they interacting with the content? Are they performing well on learning objectives? Is there anyone I need to worry about? Within our class progress tool, we've provided this really nice visualization, allowing faculty to easily do a quick comparison and see exactly how their students are performing. In this case, I have a couple students I'm worried about. It looks as though Michael Klein is struggling both with learning objectives as well as the grading components within the course. It looks like Joey Tribbiani is also struggling a little bit. Maybe I want to drill down into any of these analytics and I want to see a little more information. So I can very simply jump into our learning objectives, and I can see that Michael here has struggled with 2 of the learning objectives. The threshold to achieve this learning objective was 70, and Michael scored a 30%. Simply by hovering over his thumbnail I have the ability to send him an email or an instant message right within the platform. In addition to having this great information, within our content area, faculty can also see how much time the students are spending within the platform and how many topics they've viewed. So when Michael comes to visit us in our office hours and says he doesn't understand why he's not performing very well in the class, we can talk to Michael about his commitment to the actual course content. 7 seconds on the orientation checklist may not cut it. And 37 minutes overall is also not the effort we were expecting in this class. So to summarize, Brightspace has been built to be easy, flexible, and smart. With tools such as release conditions and intelligent agents, we're able to prompt students to be more active, we're able to provide additional content to them at scale, and we're able to create unique and individualized learning experiences to make sure they're successful. Through our consistent workflows, we save faculty a lot of time and energy. They don't have to learn every tool independently. They can very simply, through our content tool, create their course, align their course with their learning outcomes. They can very simply create, add, and edit content right within the platform. And finally, with tools like our class progress tool, faculty can very quickly and easily see how well their students are performing and which students are maybe trending in the wrong direction. This allows us to action quickly and make sure that we save those students or get them back on track. Thank you very much for attending our webinar. If you have any questions, please reach out to your sales representative.